I was just talking to Mary Lou Sutters, and Mary Lou leans into me and says, whoever has to follow Jonathan, good luck. And I'm looking at the governor's advance. I'm like, where is he? But I want to, first of all, thank Jonathan and congratulate him. And on a beautiful, beautiful words. If you listen to those words, there's some sadness in those words, but at the end of it was about recovery. So I want to thank Jonathan for his great work. I want to thank the board here at Victory Programs for all the work you do every single day. It's under the radar. People don't always understand the work you do until they have to use the services. And then when a family or an individual person needs those services, they understand the importance of this program. I want to thank the shut down. Understand, no, they don't want that in our backyard. What they don't realize is that people in their backyard struggle from drugs and alcohol in the whole community. But this neighborhood embraced Victory. Thank you for that. The people that have already been mentioned, I just want to give another shout out. Just a couple quick people. Mary Lou Sutters, I've worked with Mary Lou Sutters for nearly 20 years on the issues of recovery, alcohol and drug addiction, and everything that goes between that. I want to thank her for her great work as Secretary of Health and Human Services. Dr. Monica Valdez-Lupe from the Public Health Commission, who's fairly new to her role, but she's not new to this. She worked at the Public Health Commission. She worked at the Bureau in Public Health at the state. Now she's back here, so she's certainly no stranger to anyone in this area. I want to thank her for her great work. Jen Tracy and the Office of Recovery Services and Brendan and everyone there, thank you very much for your work as well. Councilor Jackson had to run, but I want to thank Councilor Jackson as well for stepping up and standing up for this program here in this neighborhood. State Representative Liz Malia, Crystal Cornegay, Sheila Dillon. I mean, I can't, Jonathan captured Sheila perfectly how I feel, so I want to thank Sheila as well for her great work. This is exciting, opening this new home, and I do mean exciting. To the residents that live here, well, congratulations. This is an incredible place. This is not a shelter. This is your front door to your new life. There's an opportunity here to use this as changing everything in the past. As I said to a couple of people when I walked in, it's literally a day at a time. If you don't know what that means today, in a week you're going to know exactly what that means. There's nothing we can do about the past except for trying to repair some of the relationships. And it's about moving forward. And when you're here, if you work with the counselors and the staff here, they will help you your path forward, but ultimately it will be you that will do all the great work. The wraparound services here that are incredible. Victory Programs understands the importance of combining care with residential services. These are homes based for real people to rebuild their lives, and there's stories of people. You're going to hear a story in a few minutes of a young woman who's going to talk about, I'm sure she's going to talk about rebuilding her life. As somebody in recovery, I know that breaking down the cycles of addiction is difficult. But as I spoke at a meeting the other day, and I was sharing my story, and you know, drugs are not part of my story. It's just simply booze. But when I talked about it, anyone who has an addiction or is struggling, it's not the amount of drugs or alcohol that you put in your body that necessarily gets you to the front door all the time. Because we all drank differently, we all created different disasters in our life. But it's that feeling inside of your heart, that empty feeling, that sadness, that not knowing where to turn feeling. And when I talk to another person in recovery or somebody who's sick and suffering out there, and we talk about that, that's the common theme. It's that feeling, that uneasiness of what do we do now? We did it again, or things like that. And there's real opportunities here. I've had the chance to meet people who struggle every single day. I'm inspired by their determination. People will come up to me and say to me, oh, you know, I'm really inspired by the fact that you're the mayor of Boston and you're in recovery. And what I say back is I'm inspired because you are working to make yourself a better life for yourself. And that's what this is really all about. That's what this program's all about. That's what Jonathan Scott and Victory Program, since I've known Jonathan, we have not really ever had a conversation about the Red Sox, the Patriots, the Bruins, the Celtics. We've never talked about the weather. We've never talked about things. We've never talked about poetry, although if I'm looking for a poet laureate, I know where to go. But, you know, but what we do talk about all the time is recovery. When we had to close the bridge down, it was difficult, and there was a lot of criticism, which is fine. It's not something we wanted to do, not something I woke up one morning in October and said, I want to close Long Island Bridge down, and I want to affect the programs that I care about. I want to shut a detox down that I used to speak at every other week, Bridge to Recovery, when I was, my group, Milton Hospital, would go out there and put the commitment on. I would bring people out to the shelter It's not something we wanted to do. It was years of neglect by the city of Boston, quite honestly, that we weren't able to fix that bridge. And when we had to shut the bridge down, it was a terrible situation because the bridge was literally collapsing into the ocean. So my decision was this: close the programs down and not let anyone else off the bridge except by boat, or bring buses in and out of the island and take people off the island in buses and hope that one of them doesn't crash into the Atlantic Ocean. That was the decision I had to make. And since that time, we made that decision, we've been working to make sure that we place all of the programs. And this is basically the last program on the island that we had to place. And I know it was a long time waiting, but the persistence of Jonathan, the persistence of the board, and the persistence of the elected officials and everyone up here that made this happen today, in the long run, when you look at this beautiful home, things all happen for a reason. And somebody who's in recovery, or people that are in recovery, things happen for a reason. You know, that last drug, whatever it was, happened for a reason. You ended up here. So things do happen for a reason. Now we have an opportunity to continue to build off the momentum that we have, whether it's the Office of Recovery Services or the work that Mary Lou Sutters is doing, or that Liz Malley is doing, or that the governor's doing, or that people are doing to continue to make sure that we support transitional and permanent housing for recovery services. You know, just because this is open doesn't mean we stop. Because this is open, we got to continue to move forward. We need to be all over our city, and we need to make sure these programs are all over our city, not just on Long Island. Because we had a homeless shelter on Long Island that we hid that problem. We took the problem out every night and we hid it out there. And then in the morning we brought them back, brought the homeless folks back and dropped them in the street, and then at night we'd take them out and hid it again. And what the closing of the bridge has done is made us look at our efforts. And the day before the bridge was closed, we didn't have a full array of programs for our homeless folks. We didn't have an Office of Recovery Services. We didn't have the investments that the governor and the legislature made. We didn't have a lot of things we have today. So we need to continue to move forward. As mayor, and as I think I can speak for the council and a lot of us, I'll do everything I can to help struggling people with addiction, trauma, and homelessness. That's our role. I was asked yesterday, and I'm going to end with this. I've been asked the first year, after my first year as mayor, people said, what's your greatest accomplishment? And who knows what the greatest accomplishment is? You know, I don't know, we built this, we're doing this, we're doing that. The second year they asked me the same thing, and then the third year they asked me again. And when I thought about the third year, I really thought about the answer to that question. And my answer was this. My answer was, one of the proudest things that we have done as administration in the last 3 years is house 1,146 chronically homeless people in the city of Boston. That's what I'm proud of. And when I talk about addiction, many of those folks that we've housed are addicts and alcoholics. And any one of us in this room that's in recovery, and there's a lot of us under this tent and up here, when the booze and drugs comes out of the system, the chaos of that person's life goes away. And they're able to fix the wreckage of the past. And because of Jonathan's persistence and not giving up and making sure that he found a place to reestablish his program, he is going to give many, and the board is going to give many, many other dozens and hundreds and thousands of women the opportunity to be able to rebuild their life one day at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Walsh. We couldn't have done it without you. And every